Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you from Midway, Utah at 12:20 in the afternoon on Tuesday, January 6th of 2026, Mountain Time. And I just wanted to share a few thoughts that I've had marinating in my mind. I tried to film this video once already and ended up rambling on, and it took too long, so I'm going to try and keep it concise and focused. My thoughts are regarding the powers that be, really throughout the world, but my experiences here in the US. You can imagine it however it resonates with you. Whichever powers come to your mind, I'm sure they're all on their yachts, honestly, the same parties. So I hope the wind noise isn't too bad. But I've noticed a sort of psychological operation that's been ongoing for decades, since Vietnam and probably even before then. Oh yeah, definitely, now I'm thinking about it. Early 1900s, 1913 in particular, quite a bit went down around then. But it seems to me the powers, they want three things in particular that I think, well, that bird is kind of just levitating against the wind. That shit's crazy. But there's three things they want in our minds. I'm just gonna leave it on that bird. That's pretty cool. They want us divided, and the founding fathers warned against a two-party system, but it seems when I tune into mainstream media, or really just, yeah, the mainstream media, they try to divide us. And Green Day had a song about knowing your enemy. They're trying to make your neighbors, people in the town over, the city over, to be your enemy. But in reality, it's us versus them, the ruling class. We, the common folk of small towns like this, bigger cities like Salt Lake, a few miles east, I think we all really want just about the same things. We want safety, food, shelter, family, a sense of belonging and purpose. We're really not all that different. You go rural, urban, north, south, east, west, really not all that different. Even across the pond, I'm sure those values hold true. But the second thing is distracted. And George Orwell touched on this in his book 1984, which I highly recommend you read if you haven't already. And in that book, it was fictional, but applies to real life. The lower class, I don't remember what the word for them, basically the people who weren't part of the government, were too focused on beer and football and the lottery to even put any energy towards the corruption and atrocities that were taking place both to them and around them. And it's all right to hang out with some friends and watch football. I'm not trying to take your joy away from things that you enjoy. I'm just saying you should be mindful of how you spend your energy. And I think there's a point of diminishing returns on things like sports. Sometimes you got to check in with reality a little bit. Saying a little too much. I'm going to try and make that the last one of the video. Third one, dependent. Now, there's not only financial reasons why us being weak and sick is beneficial for pharmaceutical companies, the entire medical machine, but we're also just easier to control if we're fat and weak and depressed and dependent on the grid for every aspect of life. So with those three things in mind, divided, distracted, and dependent, sure, it's one thing to identify these issues, but it's all nothing but a course of action. Howdy. That's something that ain't so simple. Trying to come up with a course of action. And it does start at an individual level. Obviously trying to get yourself in physical shape, financial freedom, spiritually and mentally clear, so to speak. I'd say that's where it starts. And then just trying to strengthen communities. In places I've lived, I haven't felt the greatest sense of community. This town here might have one. But train with your buddies, physically, perhaps even some combat training. That's something I'd love to get into. Not even just martial arts, like firearms training too. Because at the end of the day, man, the powers that be, I don't think they're gonna relent until they're afraid of losing their power. That's actually a bumper sticker I saw that I liked. It was something along the lines of like, may the power of love exceed the love of power. And that's really what it all comes down to, man. It's putting your energy towards love. We've got a beautiful planet here. Still a lot of it left to protect. We've got a really fascinating and awesome human race. So diverse. Well, like I said, we all do want the same things, but man, we really have the potential to accomplish what may or may not have ever been accomplished before. I don't know what's going on in other planets, but man, just gotta put our energy towards building each other up, man. Know who our enemy is. I've even seen it at Planet Fitness. That's where I've been working out recently. TVs all up and down the cardio area with different news outlets and sports. I haven't seen the movie WALL-E, but I've seen clips of it and people referring to it. It's like, dude, at some point, we've got to stop polluting our mind with the divisive garbage that's being put out on TV and other platforms too. Oh man, just take a breath of fresh air. And although by some metrics, depending on where you look, the world's going to shit, whatever it is, I think we still got a lot of potential, man. I don't have a precise course of action, so I'd love for someone else to chime in the comments with any other ideas of how we can strengthen our communities, gain our independence, gain clarity of mind, unite, because we're so much stronger when we're united rather than divided, allowing the powers that be to convince us that the other common folk are the enemy. I'm gonna end this with a quote from Malcolm X. something along those lines. Fix it in the comments. Be able to throw it over this if it was wrong. We just need some sense of organization, man. This video is getting long again. It's honestly barely shorter than the first take, but let's try to stay positive, build each other up, man. I think that's all for now. Thank you all for watching, and until next time, peace.